Howdy everybody, Benjamin from TorchLight with our August newsletter video here. Making the video here at Duncan Gardens in Manito Park in Spokane, Washington. Beautiful summer day. I couldn't resist. I hope you enjoy the scenery. A couple of things I wanted to just do a quick introduction on the newsletter. We've got two pieces of thought leadership from Nolan and Augusto. We have an employee spotlight on Justice Houston. And we're running a promotion this month on DMARC monitoring, which I'll speak to here in a couple of moments. I wanted to take about 2 minutes and just speak to a thought that I've been thinking about for the last, say, 30 days or so. And it's the opacity of artificial intelligence. You know, black box. We put something in, something comes out. And, you know, going back a couple months ago, one of the videos I made was around the velocity of artificial intelligence and how the adoption, we've never seen the speed this fast ever in American history. And also what's unique about this adoption process is that it's from bottom up as opposed to top down. So going back to the opacity of artificial intelligence, we know there's a lot of complexity here involved to make this happen, right? It's absolutely amazing when you stop and think about it. But also there's a lot of proprietary elements to this in terms of what data is it being trained on, and what are the algorithms? What's the decision making in the algorithms inside these black boxes that we're talking about? Do they have biases built into them? Are they trained on bad data? And then obviously the technical. I read an article the other day that said in the United States in 2025, it's looking at about $350 billion of investment in artificial intelligence investment infrastructure build out, compared to about half that in 2024. So I think, you know, if you follow the money, this is where it's going. So I don't think this is going away. I think we all can agree on that. But as we you know, the next element in, you know, the opacity of artificial intelligence is trust erosion. What systems are in place today for accountability of these black boxes? And I would argue that there's not enough today. And I think it's something that we need to, as users, continue to demand of the developers of these systems, call out inaccuracies. And we're really challenged by the inability to verify what's coming out of these systems. Finally, and if you have kids, I'm sure you've thought about this. Will these systems make us dumber? Will we lose the ability to just have plain common sense? And will our reliance on these systems, you know, will we become so dependent that we lose the ability to kind of, you know, self-agency? There's a lot to take into account around the opacity of artificial intelligence. I don't have any answers for it, but I think the guiding light that I am sort of subscribing to in the near term is this. It all comes down to questions. If you're asking the right questions, the detailed length, you know, of the question. And I go back to a quote by Edward Deming many years ago, and something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think you'll get the gist. I don't go to bed worried that I don't have the right answer. I go to bed at night worried that I didn't ask the right question. And I think that 100% applies here. The asking questions of the output you're getting, of the vendors you're using for artificial intelligence, is absolutely critical to making sure that you have a good integration, that you have a good process, that you have a good outcome with artificial intelligence. So, you know, the velocity, the opacity, the cost, all these things come into play. But this month I really wanted to just take a minute and talk about the opacity. Nolan's got some additional thought leadership on artificial intelligence in this newsletter here. Final thought, switching over to DMARC monitoring. We have seen a pretty significant increase in attacks via DNS and DMARC. So, you know, as we highlighted in last month's newsletter, we kind of gotten into the technical details of DMARC, DKIM, SPF, you know, what it is and why you need it. We've included hopefully an easy to understand infographic in this month's newsletter. And for me, you know, what we're seeing are two kinds of attacks. You know, obviously sending emails, getting emails through DNS. And, you know, if your DMARC, your DKIM, and your SPF are not set up properly or robust enough, the bad guys can get through, double click on an attachment. I read just yesterday that there's a new attack vector where they send what's called a scalable vector graphic, SVG, which is very common. Almost every website uses SVG, small file size, and you can scale the image to whatever size you need it to. So it's really handy for web development. But they're sending this as an attachment, and the systems, this file has some code inside of it that then executes JavaScript in a sandbox, and the security tools haven't really picked up on. It's only after the command and control comes into place that's initiated by the JavaScript code. So this one's interesting. For now, what we're seeing is that it looks like the bad guys are using it to just harvest Facebook likes for their Facebook pages, but inevitably this is going to lead to ransomware, exfiltration, all the nasty things we've been talking about in this newsletter historically. And then the other attack that we've seen is a lot more pernicious, and this one consumes a lot of time to get resolved. And that is, let's say you have yourbusinessdomain.com, and somebody comes along and buys yourbusinessdomainjobs.com or yourbusinessdomaincareers.com, and then recruits people pretending to be you, and then you send these folks are getting computers, they're getting phones, and they're doing work on behalf of this shadow entity. And they have no idea that it's not for you. They think it's for you. And we've seen the bad guys actually send physical hardware to these users thinking they're working for company A, when in fact it's not company A at all. So when you have this kind of attack, your DMARC, your DKIM, your SPF also provide an element of ownership, so that the company that's spoofing, you can go to their domain registrar and say, hey, this is clearly malicious, this is clearly a spoof. And the tighter you have your DNS, DMARC, DKIM, SPF, the faster that process goes through. So it can be time consuming, but the more you have tightened down your DKIM, DMARC, and SPF, the better off you'll be. So what we're offering is DMARC monitoring with reporting, that every month it's reviewing every email, it's reviewing all of your domains, and this is the next step in proactive security. So take a look at the offer. We hope it's compelling. We think this is where the bad guys are going next, and we want to protect you. So enjoy the newsletter. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you in September.